side, this is not a heavy-duty suspension setup. Not that it was ever intended to be. It's a Reliant Robin. It weighs 2 ounces. Oh. Well, I'm glad I was forced to have a look at this side because this U-bolt here is held in place by a bunch of stacked spacer nuts like the other side was, but this U-bolt is being held in by one nut. There is no nut on this side at all. So ostensibly there is one single U-bolt holding this side of the axle in place. So it's a good thing I got replacements. Just like with the other side, I'm going to start out by loosening these with a wrench. Maybe even a breaker part. Need some more lubricant.
I need to stop doing that before I get demonetized for sounding like a sex person.
Und now, it comes right out. I am now realizing that the Reliant mud flap that was bolted to the other leaf spring I left at the spring shop. Should I go get it?
No.
It's kind of destroyed. I'm going to leave it. Now in with the new, but before I can do that, I have to drill out the alignment hole for the locator pin. I have to round off this nut, and I don't have to drill out this bushing here because this one is the right side. No. This is so difficult. There we go. This is interesting. The shock mount is just a bolt, and it bolts into the axle, but it's also very clearly supposed to be welded in place. But the ring that's supposed to be welded here is missing and broken, and it wasn't there when I took it off, so we're just going to put it back like I found it. Almost. There we go. Now, just like on the other side, I don't really know how far down to tighten these U-bolts because they have a seemingly unlimited amount of stretch. I don't want to break them. So I'm just going to tighten them down to a point that feels all right, I guess. Downside of the Robin being as light as it is, it takes forever to get down off the lift. This is as fast as it goes. Well, it is definitely sitting higher, no question. I expected that. These are brand new leaf springs. They haven't had any time to settle. And I think that side wheel is just a little bit further forward in the wheel well than this one. And I think the axle is shifted that way by about 3/4 of an inch, something like that. But there's no alignment, so it's just going to stay like that. There's no lateral link to adjust the lateral sway in the axle. There's no way to align the wheel front and back without physically modifying the leaf spring. So it's just going to stay like that, and it's fine. Now, the best thing to do now would be to drive it around a bunch to break in the suspension. But what I'm not going to do is drive it around a bunch to break in the suspension, because since I started this, it has snowed twice, which means the roads have been salted twice. And I've seen the underside of this car. It'll dissolve. So I'm not going to break in the suspension right now. I'll do that next spring. Unfortunately, it's time for the Robin to go into winter storage, at least until we've had sufficient enough rainfall to wash the salt off the roads. Then I want to drive the crap out of it like I normally do. Thanks for watching.
Hey, so
where's this dog I keep hearing so much about? Oh, he's right.
I'm glad you brought your friends. Say you watch it go down.
Here's some more great conversation. So for the past few years, here's some more great conversation starter watches. This is the last laugh by Mr. Jones. The minute. So for the past few years,
Now, Thomas, I know the divorce is getting you down, but you need to get back on the rails, said the Fat Controller. The only thing that's...
If you guys don't mind me asking, how things you think are illegal. If you guys don't mind me asking, how much did your costume cost?
$1,100. Everything together was probably a few thousand.
How long have you guys been furries?
Since like 2020.
2013.
What got you guys into becoming furries?
When I found out about furries online and they would dress up as animals, I was like, oh, that sounds like that's for me.
Things you think are illegal that are actually totally legal. Number 1, owning a flamethrower. You can't have one in Maryland and you need a license in California, but the other 48 states say fire away. Number 2, using a radar detector. On the lookout for cops up ahead. Unless you're on a military base or in DC, this cheat is normally A-OK in your personal vehicle.
All units, we have a report of a maniac with a flamethrower near 4th and Pine.
Number 3, performing sleepy surgery. Surgeons usually have a limit on how long.
Imagine if this was a thing in the 90s.
I've counted every single...
So how it works?
Let's make egg fried rice.
Oh, god damn.
What's up, fuckers? Why American bathrooms have gaps. If you guess safety, that's part of it. The gaps prevent people from doing illicit activities because people can see them. If someone passes out in the stall, someone else can see them and help them. And if someone gets stuck in the stall, they can crawl out. Why American bathrooms have gaps. If you guess safety...
Do you know how dark the ocean...
When did we just all lose our damn minds? So I guess this guy here is destroying all the Busch Light at Walmart because he's mad about trans something.
Oh my god.
You know the equal sign in math? Well, back in the day, people actually wrote is equal to instead. And mathematician Rob...
This blade is actually moving faster than you think. It looks like it's going really slow. Until this guy...
Have you ever been a dumb motherfucker and locked your keys in the car like this? Well, I got a trick for you if you have one of these shitty Ford Rangers. Come over here. All you gotta do, get your antenna off of there.
I bring the pain like...
Babe, just tell them what you just told me.
Alright, so you...
Here's some great watches you can get for
When you get grounded, but you have to communicate with your...
Okay, let's answer another commonly asked question in the furry fandom. Do you need a fursuit to be a furry?
No.
As much as the furry fandom has a very heavy interest in fursuits and by proxy, role-playing is your persona, a fursuit isn't necessary to be a furry. It really is an endearing experience to put on your fursuit for the first time and see that you are the character you created. But at the same time, it's not a necessity to be a part of the community. Hell,
I'm totally part of it, but not.